The following is an SUTV student production. The views expressed are not necessarily those of Salisbury University, the University System of Maryland, its regents, administration, officers, employees, or representatives. Good evening, and welcome to SUTV's first sports night. I'm Amanda Newman, and this week in SU Sports, the number 2 women's field hockey team remains undefeated after beating Rowan University 8-2. Junior Courtney Jansen scored 3 goals. Senior Mallory Elliott and junior Rachel Johnson scored 2 goals apiece for the Gulls. Senior goalie Rachel Kluwer recorded her 6th win for the season. The Gulls will be back in action on Saturday. They will be traveling to Lynchburg College. The game is set to begin at 12 p.m. And the men's soccer team got their 5th win of the season after beating Washington College 1-0. Senior captain Mike Green scored the unassisted goal for the Seagulls. Green ties the Salisbury record for the most consecutive games recording a point to be during the season. Junior goalie Drew Stadel was able to get a shutout over Washington College. The Seagulls will be hosting William Patterson this Saturday at 1 p.m. And the women's soccer team ended in a 1-1 tie Tuesday against Virginia Wesleyan. Sophomore Jenny Gavigan was able to score on a late penalty kick and to keep the goals in the game. Goalie Michelle Conrad played the entire game and had 6 saves. This Saturday, they will be playing Catholic University at 3:30. And the men's football team had a tough loss to number 4 Wesley College Saturday, losing 43-5. Junior linebacker Nick Anzalo had 13 tackles. Senior punter Kyle Hamby had a career high of 8 punts for the night. Sophomore kicker Zach Osborne was able to connect on a 27-yard field goal, and senior Nick Ochoa and junior Josh Danko both finished with 10 tackles in the game. Danko was able to recover a fumble. The team is off this week, and next week they will be traveling to Buffalo State. They will be playing in their first Empire 8 conference game at 12 p.m. And the women's volleyball finished in their UMass Boston Invitational 2-0, beating Millbury 3-0 and Western Connecticut 3-2. Salisbury will be traveling to Juanita College this weekend for the A6 Invitational. The game is set to begin at 4 p.m. on Friday. And now over to you guys.
Thanks, Amanda. I'm Travis.
I'm Amir.
I'm Will.
I'm Matthew.
All right, now let's try and dissect some of the Salisbury sports a little bit more. What do you think happened to the football team this week?
You go first.
Like, it was a blowout that big. It's got to be entirely on the offense. If you can't keep up with a team scoring that much, like the defense they're giving up a lot of points, yeah, but the offense has to at least keep up with them. They had one good drive where Dunbar rushed for 60 yards on one play, and then they couldn't capitalize on that. They had to settle for a field goal. So it's got to be the offense, and starting up front definitely with the offensive line.
I completely agree. The offense didn't show up. And on top of that, they were 1 for 9 in the game for 6 yards passing, while Wesley was 25 for 33 for 319 yards. So, I mean, they were able to mix up. I know it's the triple option, but it's when you know what's coming, you can send 8, 9 guys at the line all the time, and Salisbury's not fast. Like they're having an off year. Well, that game showed, and Wesley was really well prepared for that game.
Yeah, when you run the triple option offense, it's good against the lower teams where you can outrun them even if you're not the fastest, and you can get the pitches off. But when you're playing a team like Wesley, they're going to pick up on it really fast, and especially they've played each other every year for like the past 16 years, so they know exactly what was coming. So they were 100% prepared, and they just took advantage.
Let me just say, as a coach, when you come into a game like this, let me just throw some numbers at you guys. So that the past couple, like 6 or 7 years, we haven't beat them at all. This game is always an exciting game. If you remember last year, we got one of a 40-yard Hail Mary, I believe, and we lost, obviously. Wesley is top 5 in the nation. So this is not a team that you just okay, let's just go and take another day. You know this game is real. They are fast, they are athletic, and they will capitalize on mistakes. And you could tell just as soon as the game started, there was a different intensity. Okay, we had a little kick return, and then it's just first play just crushes them. They're hyped up. They're ready to play, and we just look. Okay, all right, let's run the next play. It just seemed with such an athletic defense. With the triple option, you needed the Johnny Manziel, Cam Newton, Russell. You need one of them to be moving back there. I'm not saying that our quarterback can't do the job. I'm just saying the intensity needs to be up a little higher. It looked like they came ready for war and said, we're going to show you why we're number 5. We could have shown them, hey, we can play with a top-ranked team. I'm not saying we need to win that game for us to be satisfied, but that was just hard for people to watch. I mean, when it's parents yelling, come on, somebody make a tackle, you don't want to hear that. I mean, that's high school. College, they should be able to handle that job, and we should be able to just let them do their job and appreciate that. But, I mean, it just seemed like everything they threw at them, it was just so one-dimensional. And when we did pass, it was interception, and it became predictable. It was 3rd and 15, and you run the option, and the QB takes it up the middle. Like, why would that be the decision you make? So I'm not bashing the team. I'm not saying the coaches can't coach. But I feel like we need to add a couple weapons or add a different type of look because people just know instantly what Salisbury's going to do.
Because, I mean, if you're running the triple option and they're getting the triple option, you have to have at least something in your back pocket to switch up the offense, change it up, make the defense get back on their heels, have to adjust for something. I mean, if you're going 1 for 12 on 3rd downs over the course of the entire game, you have to change something there. You have to bring in a trick play. I don't care if it's a Statue of Liberty or a hook and ladder.
Right, exactly.
You got to do something to get the defense back on their heels so they don't know what to expect when you're running the triple option, run, pitch, read every play.
And to go with the point of switching it up, they would, the few times that they would pass it out, besides out of the triple option, is they would go in shotgun formation, and it's like the defense already knew what was coming because, they figured they're not going to draw a run play up from that, formation when it's 3rd and, like you said, 3rd and 15. Why take it up the middle? So all they had to do was, have their guys stay, the linebackers and safeties play that, wherever that yellow marker would be on the TV, that first down marker, and just say, keep everything in front. And that's Wesley was very disciplined, like you said, more athletic, and it showed.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like a team can be too dedicated to a system they use. Because I ask people, okay, you watch a game, they're running the triple option, what's the first thing you're going to think? Okay, the quarterback can't throw. I ask people, can he throw? Yeah, he can throw a lot. Okay, then why are we doing that? Every weapon we have, can the receivers catch? Yeah, they can catch. Then why haven't we thrown the ball? When we throw the ball, see, it didn't work. Well, you ran the ball about 50 times and then just thought, okay, let's do play action on 3rd and 20 and see if they know what's coming. They study the game. They know what's coming. If they're top 5, they're not going to just act like Salisbury's another team. They're going to show you, like I said earlier, why they are number 5. And it was, I watched the team multiple times. I watched the games last year. I looked at the defense. This is not a 40-3 team or 40-5, whatever the final score was. They shouldn't be doing it.
Well, week 1 against Christopher Newport, I believe that's who they played, they put up 41 points. Yeah, exactly. So they showed that they can put up some points on offense, but they also gave up 32, and they've given up 78, 75 points in the first 2 games, which that's something you got to look out for.
And to go with your point on the defense giving up that many points, they lost a lot of seniors last year on that team, so it's a new group of guys, but I mean, that's what all-season prep work is for, kind of just, spend a little more time outside of just, okay, the 3 hours of practice, because, they say champions are made in the off-season when no one's looking. It's what you do when no one's looking that, determines what kind of team you'll be. And if you have guys that, if you have half the team that wants to, go 8-0 or 10-0, and then you have others that are, don't really care, they're just doing it to play, you kind of got to get that morale going or that chemistry so that way you're not a team divided.
Going back to that defense, Andre Carter, who I believe was a 2-time All-American, 3-time All-American, was the other second corner. Calvin, he was the other corner, number 1. And then Greg, who was the safety. So that's key people. They're all seniors. That's your starting secondary. I don't know who's that linebacker. I don't know who they lost. I don't know their game. I'm not saying there's not other guys that fill that spot and do their job, but 3 seniors on the defensive position and DB, that's something serious. Those are leaders. Those aren't just people who fill a spot. They were people we look for in the game. Those are people that the coach says, hey, we need to watch out for him, and him. I guess we don't have that. I know everybody has a rebuilding year, and I know there were some people who stepped up in that game and didn't give up, but just maybe this is just a rebuilding year for us. We don't know. We'll see as the season goes on.
Yeah. All right, so other sports. We got men's soccer. Men's soccer is doing really good this year. What do you guys think of men's soccer team? Matt, you had?
I've called all except for one of the home games. They've played really well. Matt Green, like Amanda said earlier, has tied the school record for most games to start a season with at least 1 point in it. So he now has 14 points. 15 because goals are 2 points. But starting from yesterday's game, which they won 1-0 against Washington College, thank you. And so like that game was physical. The thing I noticed about Salisbury is they can adjust to how the other team wants to play. If they want to play physical, they'll play physical. They're not scared to like play physical and draw a foul or get a foul call on them because they're going to send a message that we're not a pushover. And their goalie, Drew Stadley, is off to another fantastic start. He was 7th in the nation last year for goals against average per game last year of just over 0.7 goals a game. So they got a solid back line and they got a solid goalie, so they're dangerous.
Yeah, I've been to two of the home games. Well, one of them I left early because it was raining out. But both games I went to, they went down really early in the game and were able to push back and one game get the tie and the other game against NC Wesleyan get the win in overtime. Field hockey team, they're undefeated. They win by a lot every single game. There's nothing really much. Sam Johnson and Courtney Jansen are 2 of the top scorers on the team.
Killing it.
Yeah.
Let me just say, last year when we was doing the show, I had to tell everybody about field hockey. And it was exciting. I never really cared for field hockey that much. Not saying it's not a sport that isn't worth watching, but I just never paid attention to it. And when I came to Salisbury, started reading. Every week was exciting. I think they lost in the championship last year, which was heartbreaking for me. I felt about that team, so I hope they really do well. I know they got a lot of people returning. I know they lost a couple key players, but I know they got freshman Yumi Kim and the other people and the other 3 girls that you named, so they do a real good job. So
Yeah.
I wish them the best.
All right, we have some upcoming games, that Salisbury home games. They have, let's see, field hockey is, there we go. Men's soccer is home tomorrow, or Saturday actually, against William Patterson at 1. Women's soccer is home on the 23rd against Stevenson at 4. Football is off this week and then away next week, and I believe the week after that as well. They're not home again until October 11th against Utica. Field hockey returns home next Saturday against TCNJ. They'll hopefully win by a lot again. I'm calling that game. And then volleyball is home September 30th against Christopher Newport at 7 p.m. I actually went to a volleyball game too, and there was a lot of students there. It was really loud in the gym. I was really impressed.
Just to go on with your point of being loud, I called basketball games last year. That gym is, I've seen high school gyms more filled than that. And I don't know if you guys saw the email earlier this year about talking about student atmosphere at the game, and feels like there's a lack of it. Mm-hmm. Like you go to a game last year, football game, I felt like I was at a high school game. Like people would go just to socialize and walk around, and not be like we see on TV with the Division I or even the D2 schools, or even when D3 gets on mentioned or whatever. It's like, why don't we have that? But I think this year they've started implementing some stuff to try and get students to go, which that football game was packed to the end, which I was very impressed with, as much as of a blowout that was.
Oh, yeah. Just because everybody was waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, I have never seen that many students at a Salisbury football game before. I was into it. I liked it.
I feel like the Christopher Newport game was similar last year. But then again, with the whole look of the stadium, I mean, I feel like that was a very smart idea to move us to the other side.
Yeah.
I know they're making a couple more renovations that aren't ready yet, but they're making moves, so I feel like we need to use them.
Yeah. All right, let's get into some national sports. I don't know. What do you want to talk about first? Jameis Winston?
We'll save Jameis. We'll save Jameis. Let's just start off. Let's start on the serious topics right now. The NFL is a problem. And if I get one more sports update about another player that we all know, I'm okay with, such and such got injured. I'm okay with you holding out because of your contract. But when there's 5 domestic violence cases and abuse cases and such is doing this drug and they're using, it's embarrassing, and everybody's looking at Roger Goodell like, hey, what you gonna do about this? What you gonna do about that? Imagine as the commissioner of the NFL, and you just handled the Ray Rice situation, and it was like, hey, Adrian and Greg waiting for you in the back. What do you guys think? It's just terrible that it's coming to this point that we are seeing these players acting like that.
I think the biggest issue going into the season was everybody was concerned with, Ray Rice, he's only got a 2-game suspension. He beat his girlfriend, whereas Josh Gordon, he gets caught for drugs again. He's out indefinitely for another season. Wes Welker gets 4 games for doing Molly at the Kentucky Derby. Cowboys defensive player gets also got slipped Molly, he says, and they're all getting all these longer sentences than Ray Rice did. And then finally, I don't want to say finally, but that Ray Rice tape comes out, and now Ray is suspended indefinitely from the league. I think the Ravens did a really good job of handling it the way they did, releasing him when they found out about it. But now we've got the whole thing where the NFL might have got the video beforehand.
In
so
April. That's what they said.
Yeah.
It's the biggest issue right now. I'm less concerned. I am concerned with the players themselves, but I'm more concerned at this point with the executives in New York in the NFL, because they obviously can't handle this, and something needs to be done.
And to go along with that, I wouldn't have an issue if, they said, oh, we didn't, know about the video until it was released by TMZ Sports. But the thing is that you have multiple sources claiming that, they heard that the NFL has got it back in April. It makes Roger Goodell look bad. And he, putting that 6-game suspension. Why is Ray McDonald still playing, who's active for the 49ers? He's played both weeks.
Yeah, I think, was it the governor or mayor who said that deactivate him? I want him deactivated. I forget somebody said, but somebody says he doesn't want him playing.
Yeah, I think it was Governor of Minnesota talking about Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
And he's, the fact that Minnesota, I really thought they had the right idea of doing what they did, and then I'm finding out that he's still getting paid all these millions of dollars for just sitting out. But something needs to be done. They need to crack down and settle this.
And Jonathan Dwyer has been moved to that same kind of list where he will still receive his full paycheck because, if the Cardinals take action to suspend him, then, it just turns into turmoil. So, they're doing the best thing where he still gets paid.
It makes the NFL look like they can't control them. I mean, I know they're grown men, they're not children, but it's like the little kid in the store who's yelling at his mom saying, I want the candy bar, and she's looking like, I don't know what to do. That's what this looks like. And all the NBA, the MLB, everybody's looking at him like, NFL, you're not going to take care of your people? Like, what are y'all doing? And it makes you mad because you think about these guys are giving us our entertainment, so we'll be selfish with their lives sometimes. But but you have to know that you just can't do anything. I know it's bad that you can't just live a normal life, but hey, that's what you signed up for. We're not giving you $30 million to go out and hit who you want and take what drug you want and do this and do that and not represent us. You signed that contract, you represent me. But I am going back to what you said about the sources. How do you not know about Ray Rice's TMZ video? But you know that Adrian Peterson had a phone conversation with Jerry Jones about, hey, I play for the Cowboys. Or how we always have, sources say Brett Favre will be back, and we haven't heard about Brett Favre for 4 years. Just things I'm like, how do you know all of these things? But ironically, one of the biggest things, Ray Rice's video, we just didn't get that.
That's a good point.
That's the thing that makes it look bad.
And to go with it, along with the lines with the first video, how did Roger Goodell say, 2 games is enough when you see him physically dragging her on the floor? Now, at that point, one thing I say, I do not support domestic violence at all. If I say what I'm about to say, I'm not going to be Stephen A. Smith in this situation. I'm just saying, when he hit her, she hit the railing. And it really looked bad. I don't think Ray Rice purposely meant to physically harm her. It was just a reaction. Now, I'm not saying that's right, but I'm just saying I feel like the hit wasn't as bad as how the video looked.
because when you're dragging your fiance out the elevator and gotta close the door again to make sure she's okay and then walk out to people, like it just looks so bad. And I feel like that's when they were like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? Like, I just felt like everybody was just sitting at the table like we are right now, just like, okay, what are we gonna do? Just ban them for life. Like, that's the first thing you think of. Like, and I guess and going to the Josh Gordon thing too, that did add into it a lot. Because it was, Josh Gordon, every day on Twitter, Josh Gordon hits the bong, but Ray Rice hits his girl and gets 2 games. Like, I'm like, everybody's making comedy out of it. No, this is a serious situation. Brandon Marshall had a situation with this. It's been multiple players who domestic violence come up, and now as soon as a video leaks out, okay, now we have to take it.
And apparently there was a situation with Terrell Suggs where he has been involved with this in the past, where he threw his girlfriend or somebody down the stairs or made them hit their head on the stairs, and that gets swept under the rug. Never heard about it as big as so I think it's because Goodell acted so quickly and said 2 games, and then people were like, how can you say 2 games is enough when, there's players that are doing a recreational drug that when 2 states are legal and, he gets a full year. So, I mean, the punishment didn't necessarily fit the situation is what I guess I'm saying.
But not the funny thing, just interesting is that we're like, oh, what's Roger Goodell gonna do? We took this to court as well, and all Ray Rice had to do was take treatment classes, and he was okay. So it's funny how we attack the NFL, but the U.S. court system said, oh, he's fine. So I guess we just we didn't look over there, and we didn't look in that direction. We just said, okay.
Funny that you mentioned that Keith Olbermann was calling right after this whole thing happened, was calling for everybody involved.
Yeah.
So those judges and everybody involved in the U.S. or the NFL executives to step down because, he believed that they were covering up for, that tape.
Oh yeah, they were.
And
they had to. Because Beyonce and Solange video got released 2 days later. So I don't know how Ray Rice video did get leaked.
And just one more thing. Notice how ever since that Ray Rice incident, Roger Goodell has not been in the news.
Not at all.
Like with these latest situations, Adrian Peterson, Jonathan Dwyer, Ray McDonald, Greg Hardy, not been in the news as of the last 2-3 weeks.
But would you, if you were Roger Goodell?
No.
Let's make sure we're on the same page. But yeah,
all right. Let's talk about a lighter note. Let's go to baseball. Pennant races.
Yep.
Local teams, the Orioles and the Nationals, clinching their divisions.
East of the East.
Yeah.
Let's just give him a little clap right here, just a little applause. And let's just have a moment of silence for the great, the captain of baseball, Derek Jeter.
They haven't been eliminated just yet.
Yeah, but they're going to be.
Hey, Tanaka's coming back to pitch you guys into the postseason. It's all right.
Yeah, if he's going to have to pitch every single game for him to do that.
Because CeCe's out for the season too, right?
I don't. CeCe Sabathia's out every season.
But it's cool. It's nice.
Along with Jacoby Ellsbury and everybody else.
Yeah, the Yankees have been a complete bust this year. But yeah, let's talk about the Orioles. The first division title since 1997. That's a pretty exciting thing for sports fans around here.
17 years in between.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm really excited of just even the possibility of a Beltway World Series, because I know it's a big deal if the Mets and the Yankees meet each other in New York. So it's going to be a big deal in these cities that haven't seen much success in baseball or even sports-wise in a long time.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a great atmosphere come October.
I would be scared to see that. I don't know, because I feel like, because it's already the argument of D.C. or Baltimore, who's better, with just from teenagers to sports teams. That would probably be the most watched game ever or series ever. I don't think I would be able to be in the whole DMV area at that time because it would just be so heated, win or lose. It'd be war. It would be like the Civil War. The North and the South, that's what it would be like. And it would be in history books.
And also this year the Pirates are about to get back into the playoffs. This will be the second year in a row, but second year since the 90s. And the Royals are going to be
shocking the world.
The Kansas City Royals are going to be in the playoffs for the first time since the 80s.
I'm calling
84, 85.
Yeah.
With the George Brett.
Yeah, first time since George Brett they're going to be in the playoffs.
They're my dark horse to win it all. I think they've proven year in year this season that they they can hang. They were how many games? They were far back in the playoff race around the All-Star break, and they stormed on in the second half.
Yeah.
And if you look at some of the teams that have won the World Series, point out the 03 Marlins, All-Star break on, they were really good, and that's all you need is that maybe that couple, 60-game spurt where you play really well, and it carries you into the postseason.
But you know how baseball is. If you're feeling right, that's how it goes. The team may be way better than you, but you just may have that one game or that one day or that one hit or that one stolen. But it's just baseball is just a game of inches. It's just
not to bring up 04, but that Dave Roberts deal changed that whole series in the ALCS.
Yeah, and what was I? Oh yeah, the Royals still have a chance to win the division.
Yeah, they're a game back, right?
Yeah, they're a game back, and they've been going back and forth with the Tigers. That would be huge if they can win the division and not have to play in that wild card game.
And to go along with that, it would just rejuvenate that whole area.
Yeah.
That ballpark just got done, adding stands to the outfield.
Yeah.
And they had the All-Star game there 3 years ago?
2012, I think it was.
So, I mean, Kansas City has been kind of put back on the map with baseball in these past couple of years, and it's paid off because look at them now. They're going to be in the postseason.
Yeah. So you want to quickly touch upon our boy Jameis Winston?
Let me just say that when you play college football, you have to represent the school. When you win the national championship, you have to represent the school. When you win the Heisman, you represent every person who has ever won that trophy. It's not good that the guy who won before you, we already had a problem with and was already arguing, is he cocky, is he arrogant? Jameis has had about, 4 problems that already got him kicked off the baseball team. Like, okay, first we took away baseball from you, maybe you'll calm down because you stole some crab legs. Then what was the other situation?
He was suspended indefinitely. He was suspended from the team. He wasn't kicked off.
Okay, I apologize. Yeah, suspended indefinitely, which is not better. Yeah. Then the whole end up being saying inappropriate comments. We'll just let you go on Twitter to find out what he said. Why? I guess because he's still young. He's a sophomore, so I'm a sophomore. I mean, he's a red shirt, but saying. So he's not that much older than me. But I wouldn't have done that. I'm not. They're trying to say, oh, he's a kid. He's a teenager. The adults on SportsCenter are saying this. No, that's not acceptable. I don't care what age you are. He's 20 years old. Anything you do now, it shows what the university, is trying. Jameis just makes me mad, man. I don't even know what to say. You can't give him advice. You can't. Oh my God, he just go to practice. Stay in practice, stay in the weight room, that's it.
I think this punishment's a little light, just for the fact that this is his 4th offense.
And he's only suspended for a half a game.
Yeah, and one of them made national, they've all made headlines, but one was really big with the alleged sexual assault.
Yeah.
But that
rape.
was a question, that was the school was covering stuff up.
Yeah, but still, it still brought attention to him, and if he did questionable behavior, he should have been punished. And the whole NCAA was, questioning, should he play for the national championship, should he play in that game, should he play in the ACC championship, his playing ability was questioned, and I think this is kind of a slap on the wrist to him to say, hey, straighten up, but as we've seen in the past, he's had warnings. Yeah. Why are they only going with half a game, why aren't they going with a full game or 2 games, I feel like they needed to crack down a little harder.
Yeah, and this week they're playing Clemson, so suspended for a half might hurt Florida State a little bit, especially since they haven't been too strong as last year.
Let me just ask you a quick question. Who does Clemson have on offense this year that's going to contend with that Florida State defense and score points?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Valid point.
Well, that's all the time we have for tonight.
Last thing, the King, LeBron, is home. I just had to say that. I'm sorry.
All right, that's all the time we have for tonight. Travis.
I'm Amir.
I'm Will.
Matthew.
Thanks for tuning in.